My name is Michael Lester, VP of Product here at AgileAssets, and we're very excited about the upcoming release of AgileAssets 7.1 and wanted to give you the chance to see what's in 7.1 and the things that we're very excited about having there. So what we'll start out with is going through some of the newest things, which are our brand new iOS mobile apps, making it possible to do material management and facilities or fleet vehicle repair from iPads or iPhones. In addition, there's a new visual project editing tool available in Pavement to make the managing and manipulation and planning around projects easier. We're also introducing a brand new GIS capability we're calling Next Generation Mapping. It leverages the things that we have in common with ESRI and makes it possible to share data back and forth, and dramatically simplifies and improves the usability around the mapping experience throughout the product. We'll also talk about two of our newest integrations through the LRS gateway to ESRI Roads and Highways as well as XOR. And then lastly, touch on a few of the usability improvements that are introduced through this release as we focused on usability and continue to focus on usability. As I mentioned, one of the newest things is the brand new Materials Management app for iOS. It's available for, as I mentioned, for the iPhone and the iPad, and will be available on the iTunes App Store as soon as it clears the Apple acceptance process. It does require version 7.1. The same goes with the new fleet vehicle repair or vehicle maintenance application. This is really targeted at, and we didn't try to really recreate all of the capabilities inside the web app for materials management. This is really focused on those individuals that will be updating inventories, managing and receiving and distributing materials from the warehouse. So the focus here is, as you can see across the bottom, three of the icons: transfer ins, transfer out, and the reconciliation. It doesn't necessarily start with the reconciliation here. That would be done in the web app. But from the phone app, I can actually go out into the warehouse and use the barcode scanner or the camera on the back of the phone or the iPad, scan a code, and it will find the inventory item, and I can update the quantities that are available and go through the entire reconciliation process that way. I also have, as you can see from the screenshot on the right, the ability to do transfer requests. I can make transfers in and transfers out, go in there and simply update the requested amount. I can see which locations have the material I'm looking for. And it really focuses on simplifying that experience so that somebody can quickly, from a handheld device, manage that entire process. The other new app is really an updated app. We introduced as part of 7.0 our fleet maintenance application for iOS. And this is an update really to bring it more in line with the materials management app. We wanted to have a common experience across all of our mobile apps so that when somebody uses one, the experience is the same on the other. And greatly simplifies training and usability. So to kind of give you an idea of what's possible here, somebody can manage repair orders for vehicles. They can update labor, equipment, and material and cost day cards from within the app. And they can view vehicle and warranty information. So some of the things that people are asking is, can I approve the day cards? That's not something here. Again, what we focused on with this app is on a particular individual trying to do a particular task. And it's the technician that's doing the maintenance, giving them the ability to update information as they're using it from a handheld device so they're not tied to a desktop or trying to remember it later when they're in front of a PC and in the application updating information. So we're very excited about both of these new apps, and we'll continue to evolve them and add things, and looking forward to feedback from the users as they get their hands on these and start to use them. The Visual Project Editing tool is a brand new capability inside of Pavement today. We're considering ways to bring it into other parts of the product, but it's in Pavement initially. And it helps you visualize planned projects in a multidimensional way. So you get the concepts of time, the multiple lanes, over, what kind of projects are happening, where are they happening, and it does it all visually. Gives you the ability to use drag and drop, so you can drag things around and move them together, so you can move projects all into the same year or disperse them, distribute them over multiple periods. You can merge them together, so instead of having 3 projects across 3 lanes, merge those all into one project. So it kind of give you a better idea is, since this is a visualization and a visual piece of the product, here I can grab particular items and move them around. So I could grab these seal coats sitting here in 2014 and 2015. So you can see down the left-hand side the years, are there different groupings here, and then you can see the 3 lanes. You can see what projects are planned. So, seal coat was planned in 2015, 2014, and 2013. It's demo data, so let's just ignore the fact that 2013 and all those dates are behind us. But I can grab these together and drag them so that now all of them show up together in the left lane in 2012. So that's what it would look like after I've moved all of them together. Then what I want to do really is merge all those projects together. So I can actually select them with the mouse and select merge, and merge all those together shows as one project. So again, making it much easier to do this rather than having to go through the data tables to manipulate the data. Lastly, if I decided I want to do this across all 3 lanes, I can. Simple drag exercise allows me to drag this so it goes over all 3 lanes and manage that project collectively from a simple drag and drop and visualization there in the UI. The other big visualization that changes in this version is the mapping capabilities. As you can see here, the map looks a little bit different than the way it's been in the past. We've simplified everything down so you have this one standard toolbar that goes across the top. And from that, you get the basic capabilities of being able to create a new map, open a map, save a map, print a map. Maps will be able to be, from the GIS Explorer, you go in there and actually use the maps, have a dedicated map view, or if they're bound to data tables, that actually be able to map to a specific map out of the box. So that, if I open up a map of signs, it's automatically going to come up to the predefined map for signs. But then I have the ability to manipulate it. I can actually go into the top corner here where you see the layers next to the name of the map, and I can start to manipulate them. In this case here, we're seeing condition data. We're seeing a highlight around a particular district in Texas so that I can see and visualize all that information together. Now, if I wanted to print this, all I have to do is go up and click the print button, and it goes to printing from there. I've got simple filters up here in the top right-hand corner as well as search. So I can actually go through here and really use one interface for all of the GIS needs that I have instead of having to go throughout the product and go different places to manipulate it. Creating layers and whatnot is much easier, as well as the ability really to share and integrate with ArcGIS. So we can make our information available to ESRI as well as pull in layers and maps from ESRI's side and make them visible inside of AgileAssets. So again, this was a big focus. We look at mapping as fundamental to the entire experience. All of these assets are distributed over a wide area of space. Maps are a great way to visualize data, especially those based over the linear network. And so really focusing on the usability of this we thought was very important to do. So as you can see, we can kind of zoom in here. Now I've expanded the left hand so I can see the layer information. Here I can see we're looking at 3 different layers, high, medium, and low, condition surveys as well as district boundaries. So we can see the boundaries drawn around all the districts and see the conditions of the various roads as they've been surveyed. If I ever wanted to come in here and open a map, I just click the open icon and opens the map catalog. I also have the ability to do the same thing when I click add a layer, it opens the layer catalog. So from that catalog, I can see a list of all of the maps that have been previously created. I would see them organized by folder. Folders were created, so I could create, a condition survey folder and have different condition survey reports in there, different route networks and whatnot. Save those maps. Those maps are then shared so that others can use those maps. But from the catalog, I can organize and pull up all those maps. So I could be anywhere in the application where there's a map, hit the open button, and be able to open up and view another map that's available. Lastly, there is the filtering and whatnot that is built into the map. So other than creating the styles, I can actually go in. So on the condition summary medium, you can see we've actually come in here and said condition scores between 50 and 75. So you can go in here and manipulate the filters. We're also looking at it for 2014. So we could change the effective year to 2013, 2015, and be able to see the information that's relative to that. So just coming into the filters itself and modifying that would update immediately the map that you're actually looking at. So all of the layers and having that manipulation right there side by side makes it quick and easy to do that as you're looking at the maps. The styles, as you would imagine, are pretty simple and straightforward as well. I can come in here and configure the styles, how I want to fill it, what do the lines look like, leverage the different styles, so different roadways. In this case, we're using the condition information to style the roads green, yellow, and red based off their condition states, as well as the layers for the district boundaries with a gray border and that light, I would go with light yellow, light cream kind of colored background there for that. Overlaying and not looking at the map. So if we went back to that first map, you would notice that we only had one district selected, and it was using that district formatting, and all the others were using the base map coloring gray. So all of this is focused on making it simple and easy from inside one interface, rather than having to go throughout the product to do things, as well as just to simplify the overall experience and make it easier to open maps, view maps, and then manipulate maps if you wanted to. Another way of looking at this here is, here's a map of the entire state of Texas. I could simply come in here and select the styling of this. It's simple. solid line, and I could quickly just click on the width, and immediately you see the impact here in the map. It changes from a half to a one width, and you can see, go back so you can quickly see it's just updating and changing within the map what you're seeing. So again, it's meant to be very simple and keep it all consistent in there. Another thing that we wanted to make simple and straightforward, and again, leveraging and utilizing our partnership with ESRI, we have introduced the ESRI Roads and Highways integration. This was also made available in some of the prior versions through their Service Pack 2 releases. It's also part of 7.1, or is available as part of 7.1. There is additional licensing and services to implement the ESRI Roads and Highways integration, but it is now available and gets implemented as a system job, which allows the data to be pulled in and used inside AgileAssets. And lastly, usability improvements. And this could go on for quite a while. Just talk about the little things that have happened inside the product. One of them is starting to introduce more of a responsive layout, which basically means that as we go from different size browsers or even resize a browser on a desktop, the UI responds accordingly. So as I resize my browser, moves the data windows around, adjusts the menus, the toolbars. When I go from my large desktop that I've got, thousands of pixel width versus going to my iPad that's, much smaller, or even to my smartphone, it will get smart about adjusting and utilizing the space there that's available. We've also done a lot to improve the behaviors on tablets because, again, we see more and more of you starting to ask about and use tablets as a way to, while on the move, interact with the data about the assets. So some of the behaviors focused on specifically in the tablet are around data entry and clickability, I guess I would call it. Some of the, for example, is when I'm looking at a drop-down, if it's editable, when I click it today and it pops up a list, start typing, and the selection I want to make is down, it pops up the keyboard, which hides the selections. So what we've changed is on the tablet devices, that will actually show up as just as a pop-up list. There's no edit capability in there, so it hides the keyboard, and then you can scroll through the list and find the value you're looking for. We also increased the clickable space there just to make it easier to click those because we recognize that, sometimes a really tiny small spot that makes it easy to click with a mouse is a little bit harder to hit with your finger. And so we've made the space a little bit larger to make that easier to do. We've also introduced a new capability that we actually think is going to be a huge boon to you from a usability perspective, but it's a capability that's introduced in the platform. And what it does is gives you the ability to introduce page-to-page linking so that your pages themselves can actually flow and follow a workflow. And you can create these links from within each other, or, for example, you can create links from a particular view to a reporting view that corresponds, or back into the system module, across the system module for different things. It gives you the ability really to think about how do you want to use this and shorten down, and create a page-to-page link that takes you from one page to another based off the context, rather than quick links, which just gives you a list of whatever links you want to save to various windows. This allows you within a window to say, okay, the next natural step with this is to go to this window and create that link to follow workflows. And then lastly was what we call reduced Chrome. And Chrome is really the finish, the areas, the fill around the UI and whatnot. And kind of give you an idea what I'm talking about, because this is, when I use these words, everybody thinks about Chrome, like on a vehicle. In our terms, Chrome, if you look at the top picture, is all that space that's utilized up there. And so you see things like the name of the user, the role they're in, the build version and things that they're on. In a normal day-to-day use, the user doesn't really need all that information. And so we wanted to just trim that down and make it simpler and smaller. So we can still see in the lower picture that we know it's Travis, but the build information is pulled out, and it bought us back about 40% of the space that was consumed by that top bar. And we've actually even consolidated it down a little bit more now so that the menus itself come up as part of that top bar itself, where the system module and whatnot is listed. So again, focus is really on making it much more usable, which also means including the usable workable space for you, so that there's not all that overhead, or as we call it, the Chrome, so that you and your users can actually use the product and do the jobs that you're trying to achieve. So that said, I want to thank you for walking through this, and if you have questions or feedback about our products and where you'd like to see them go, as well as what your thoughts are on 7.1, please let us know. You can always find me at mlester at agileassets.com. And we look forward to hearing your feedback on 7.1. Thank you.